We are going to be looking at Charge of the Light Brigade today, and yep, we are now recording. I hope that got the beginning there. We're going to be looking at Charge of the Light Brigade today. I'm going to share my screen, and everybody in here will be able to see it and no longer see my face. So here we go. So Charge of the Light Brigade. As I said to you guys earlier, Charge of the Light Brigade is based on real events that happened in 1854. Okay. So let's find a pen. So yeah, 1854, real events. It's written by Alfred Tennyson, who was the poet laureate at the time. Now, poet laureate is a very important role. Effectively, it means that he was employed by the Queen, by the royal family, to write poems for them. Okay, so he would have done. So he was basically a very, very important poet. And this poem was written in 1854, and it's based on real events. So everything that happens in this poem is based on real events. It's actually based upon a newspaper article that was written about what happened to the Light Brigade, which was a complete disaster. Essentially, the story of the poem is that the Light Brigade were sent on into battle, and they were sent to the wrong place. Okay, and so what we ended up with was a massacre. To be quite honest, we had horses. They quite literally took horses and knives to a gunfight. Okay. So the poem itself, we look at it from the top down first of all. So I'm going to make the screen a little bit smaller so we can see it and see exactly how long it is. It is quite a long poem. It is split into 6 different stanzas, and they all look approximately the same length. And we're going to have a look at the structure a bit more in a minute. First of all, I'm going to read it to you. Okay. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, charge for the guns, he said. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, was there a man dismayed? Not though the soldier knew someone had blundered. Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do and die. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Cannon to the left of them, cannon to the right of them, cannon in front of them, volleyed and thundered. Stormed at with shot and shell, boldly they rode and well. Into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell, rode the 600. Flashed all their sabres bare, flashed as they turned in air, sabring the gunners there, charging an army. While all the world wandered, plunged in the battery smoke, right through the line they broke. Cossack and Russian reeled from the sabre stroke, shattered and sundered. Then they rode back, but not the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon behind them, volleyed and thundered. Stormed at with shot and shell, while horse and hero fell. They that had fought so well came through the jaws of death, back from the mouth of hell. All that was left of them, left of 600. When can their glory fade? Oh, the wild charge they made, all the world wondered. Honour the charge they made, honour the Light Brigade, noble 600. So this poem, as I said, is based on real events. And what it's predominantly here to do is, well, what do we reckon? From that last line, what does Tennyson want us to remember about the Light Brigade? Joe? Yeah, he wants to honour their bravery. Okay, so this poem is about honouring bravery. Oops, sorry. So we're about honouring bravery here. This isn't an opportunity to have a go at the people who gave the silly, misinterpreted instructions. This is about honouring the men that went ahead and rode into battle, knowing that they were going to be exploded by cannonballs. Okay, and if you do, you guys in here have all seen the clip that we just watched from the 1963 film. if you're watching this when this goes up on YouTube later, do have a look at that clip. It's worthwhile checking it out. It's a 1960s film. It's a very badly filmed film in comparison to modern stuff, but it does show you. I mean, you guys heard the horses screaming, yeah? You can imagine what it was like when it was really there. So this is honoring bravery. And if we look at the structure of this poem, we can see there are some very, very clear things going on. First of all, it is written in chronological order. Okay, so first of all, it is written in chronological order. It's a narrative poem. It tells a story. And because it's telling that story, it's all ordered fairly. This happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. Most of the stanzas are approximately the same length. They're not exactly the same length, but they are approximately the same length. And we have a huge amount of repetition. And rhyme. As I was reading, did you guys notice anything about the rhythm of the poem? What did you notice about the rhythm of the poem? It does indeed rhyme, but think about the rhythm. Yep. There's a lot of repetition. Did you notice the speed at which it was going?
Going quick.
Going very, very quick. It's very ba-da-ba-bum, 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 ba-da-ba-bum. Anybody think what that might sound like? Over here? Somebody said it? It sounds like horses' hoofbeats. It's the galloping of the horses. And Tennyson has deliberately constructed each line so it sounds like it. Yeah? Exactly. So the rhythm is very specifically constructed. And that's something that you can comment on in an essay about this. Because remember, when we are writing about this, we don't just want to be talking about the words that are used. We want to be talking about the structure and the form of the piece. And the idea that this narrative text here, this narrative story, is written as almost as if you can hear the horses running as you go. Okay, so I'm just going to put a box around that. Sorry, I went over the edges of my page, guys. Trying to keep it in the page so it fits your book. So let's go to the top now and we'll see what we can do about actually annotating our poem stanza by stanza. Okay, that's better. So what do we notice first of all? Let's read the first stanza. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward. All in the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade. Charge for the guns, he said. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Okay, so what have we got there first of all? Yeah, there's masses of repetition. Excellent. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward. All in the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade. Charge for the guns, he said. Into the valley of death rode the 600. And I'm highlighting those in those colours there specifically. So we have lots of repetition. And that's what builds that rhythm. So the repetition builds the rhythm of the horses galloping. Okay, 600, quite simply because We've got 600 people. Why is Tennyson continually repeating 600? Yeah, in comparison to a huge army, this is actually quite a small group of people. It sounds huge to us, but actually for cavalry, this was quite small. And on top of that, we've also got the idea that he's emphasizing this is virtually how many people died. Okay, he's telling us how many people went out. And you note at the end, he says, not the 600. So he's emphasizing how many are there. Now, does anybody know anything about Valley of Death? Is anybody familiar with that as a reference? First of all, what sort of device is it? The metaphor, first of all. Okay, it's not actually a valley of death. Yeah, they're not going to walk in and go and die suddenly. Yeah, it's a metaphor which shows us that as they go into this valley, what that's ultimately going to happen is that most of them are going to die. Please note this happens before everything happens. Remember, this was written after the event. So although it's not happened just yet, Tennyson knows this is what's going to happen. Do any of you guys know your what was the Old Testament? Know your Old Testament at all? Have any of you guys ever heard of the I can't remember what Psalm number it is, but Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd. Though I walk through the shadow of the valley of death. It is not a line from Gangster's Paradise by Coolio, which is what most of my students come up with. It is a line from a Bible chapter. It's from a psalm. Okay? So this is what is known as a biblical allusion. It's hinting at something from the Bible. Don't forget that majority of Tennyson's audience would have been Christian. They would be very familiar with this. This song is sung in churches all over the country, even now today. It's been the tune has been changed many times. And it's all about, it doesn't matter how afraid you are, God will walk with you. God will look after you. The Lord is my shepherd. Okay? So he's calling it the Valley of Death to show how brave these people are. They are going into certain death and they are going to go with God with them. Yeah? It's all about their bravery. Forward the Light Brigade, charge for the guns, he said. Okay? So this is the words of the man responsible. Okay? This is the instructions, what they've been told to do. Charge for the guns. Remember, these instructions were not correct. Forward the Light Brigade! Was there a man dismayed? Not know the soldier knew someone had blundered. Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do and die. Into the Valley of Death rode the 600. So again, we've got that almost refrain style thing where we keep on coming back to that Valley of Death rode the 600. But we've also got lots of repetition. Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do or die. So this is our soldiers. And look how brave they are. Was there a man dismayed? No, there wasn't. No one was going to feel bad about this. They know that they are going to die. But following instructions, following orders. And look at that, do and die. Not do or die, do and die. They know they're going to die, but they're still going for it. They're still going to do what they're meant to do because they're following orders. And then we have the scenario where it actually occurs. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them, volleyed and thundered. That word volleyed, it's going backwards and forwards, over the top of their heads, and thundered. Again, we've got Road to 600, but look how we've extended Valley of Death, Jaws of Death, Mouth of Hell. What does that make it sound like they are going into? Hell, and specifically Jaws of Death, Mouth of Hell. What does it make it sound like? Yeah, it sounds like, exactly right. It sounds like they are going into a monster, a demon. Something is going to eat them. Yeah. Another of those lovely metaphors. And again, that repetition. Cannon to the left of them, cannon to the right of them, cannon in front of them. Stormed at with shot and shell. Boldly they rode and well. Look at that lovely adverb there. They're going in brave. Yeah, bravery. Remember, bravery, it was a huge part of doing this. Yeah. And that repetition there, it just, when we repeat something, why do poets usually repeat things? Emphasis. Ooh, what happened there? Let's go back. Sorry, guys. I'll go back. There we go. Sorry about that. I pressed the button I shouldn't have done. But yeah, we have the repetition to emphasize it. And this is emphasizing how much of a losing battle this is. Because in the next stanza, we're told that they're going in with their swords flying. Because, you know, swords versus cannons is a well-known way to win a battle. Not. Okay? So cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them. It is hopeless. It is also not just hopeless. This is being emphasized through repetition. Okay, so we've got them going up against the cannons, and then we have directly after it, flashed all their sabres bare. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's worthwhile noting. 2/3 of people in this room, if you guys were the 600, 2/3 of you wouldn't come back. The back row would be the only ones that came back. That's how many people died in percentages. So you're talking about the first 2 rows would be completely wiped out in this battle. Guys, focus. Come on, remember we're recording. Come on, we're recording. Okay, so flashed all their sabres bare, flashed as they turned in air, sabering the gunners there, charging an army. So he's repeating the idea of swords and swords and swords. So he's emphasizing how utterly outgunned they are. Don't forget, repetition isn't just about words, it's about repeating ideas as well. They're repeating to emphasize how outgunned they are. Can we stop that noise, please? All the world wondered. Everybody knows this is a bad idea, and they've still gone for it. Plunged in the battery smoke, right through the line they broke. They succeeded. They pushed through and they succeeded. But they all died, yeah. And then they rode back, not the 600. But look at this. Look at how brave they're being shown to be. Even though they took sabers, they took knives to a gunfight, they still scared the Cossacks. Okay? So this emphasizes their bravery. And then they rode back, but not the 600, because they were shattered and sundered. Excellent use there of sibilance, shattered and sundered, but it is also metaphorical as well. They're broken to bits. But they've still got to go back. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon behind them, volleyed and thundered. They were in front of them earlier, now they're behind them, so they're going back. Volleyed and thundered, no, that's just the fact that the cannons are going on ahead of them. So now they're on their way back. They're still in danger. Stormed at with shot and shell, wild horse and hero fell. And there we have it. There's what Tennyson wants us to believe. These are heroes. It is heroic to die for one's country. Dace decorum est per patria mori. Look it up. It's well worth it. The idea that to be patriotic, to die for one's country. Remember, Tennyson is writing for the monarchy. He is writing for, at this point in time, the king. So he is pointing out that these are heroes. He wants people to know that although their commanding officers did something ridiculous and they ended up dying, they will be remembered as heroes. This poem is saying that people that do stuff like this and follow orders, do as they're told, are heroes. Okay, he's emphasizing their bravery. They that had fought so well came through the jaws of death, back from the mouth of hell. All that was left of them, left of 600. So again, they come back through it. He's not focusing on the dead, he's focusing on the living. He's focusing on the people that came through, yeah, and how heroic they were. Last stanza. Now this one is notably shorter because this is no longer about what actually happened. Yeah, this is now him. This is our narrator's comment. This is what Tennyson is saying. When can their glory fade? Okay. Again, he's talking about their bravery. All the wild charge they made. It was chaotic, but they still managed it. All the world wondered. And then we have that lovely repetition. Honor the charge they made. Honor the Light Brigade. Noble 600. Never forget them. Okay. So, Charge of the Light Brigade is a quite simple poem. Okay. It doesn't have a lot of very, very complicated devices in it. But at its heart, it has patriotism, it has nobility, and it has, so I'm going to write those words down for you actually. So patriotism, it has nobility, it has remembrance, and it has honor at its very heart. This is what Tennyson wants us to remember. He wants us to remember how noble and brave these people are. Okay? Now, this poem works particularly well with poems that are about war as well. It works very well with Poppies, which is about remembrance. I know you guys haven't gone over these poems yet, but when you come back to watch this at a later point, you will see this. It works very well with remembrance, with Poppies. It works quite nicely with Remains that we went over last lesson, because it is about a real life experience. It's about the real life experiences of soldiers. It goes very well with any of the war poems, really. War Photographer, Kamikazes about memory. And it would also go well with things like On My Last Duchess, which is a narrative poem, so you could compare the two narrative poems. So let's have a look at the work we've done. Not bad. It's a bit up top there as well. Well done, everybody. We're still recording, guys. Thank you.
What's that?
And we are now going to finish the recording. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.